Okay, we're on. Hello, ladies, and welcome. The webinar is now beginning. Jackie, I can see you've asked a question. So welcome to create your compelling headline to grow your list like crazy. Now, if you can see my screen, please type in there because I want to make sure that you can hear me and that you can see me because that is all very important in a webinar. So, and then we will actually get started. So thanks so much for being here today. I'm really excited about today's presentation because it's something that is really important in a business to know how to create a compelling headline. And you are in the right place if you are an online entrepreneur wanting to grow your list. If you want to increase the open rates of your emails with an awesome subject line, if you are looking to dramatically enhance the impact of your online content, and if you want to make your blogs and articles get read more often and boost the impact of your content by nailing the title every time, then you are in the right place. And if you want to choose the perfect title to make your next program or training irresistible to your ideal clients. Hello, ladies. Nice to see you there. Hi, Judith. Hi, Jackie. Please say hello too when you pop on. I love having some interaction during the webinar. Now, a brief description of who I am. So I'm Pauline Delaney. I've worked in the health industry for over 25 years as an optometrist. So I have had a lot of experience in that field, and I have beautiful children. I have 4 beautiful children aged between 13 and 22, which is always fun. So I've always combined my work and my family life together, and then I've added into the mix. I have started my business several years ago as well. I did a lot of internet marketing training too. This is what really got me excited about having an online business. I went to a seminar 4 years ago, an internet marketing seminar, and discovered the internet. Up until then, I could barely even send an email. But this seminar I went to, which was at the Hilton Hotel in Melbourne, was just an absolute eye-opener. It opened up my eyes to the possibilities that there is online, the global audience, the sitting in your pajamas, being able to run a business, and it was so inspiring and exciting to me that it set me off on a journey that has led me to where I am today. I found though that having the internet marketing was fantastic, and I spent a long time at all the different seminars, learning one-on-one coaching, that sort of thing. But it wasn't quite enough, and I needed to have that extra boost of the personal development in there as well, because that is something that I'm really passionate about too. So I studied life coaching, did NLP training, and what I've done now is I've mixed those two together, which is wonderful, and my business now is a combination of the coaching, the marketing, the business, and the mindset. So I am now a business and success coach for online female entrepreneurs. And what I'm really excited about and what I'm specializing in now is content creation, and the way that you can use content, particularly free content, to get more clients, to grow your list, to get known as an expert, and to really have an impact online. So let's get started with our content today. And today we're talking about headlines. Well, what is a headline? Well, a headline is, it's going to introduce and describe the content so that the readers are going to have a little bit of a taste of what's to come, and it's going to enable them to make a decision on whether what is coming is worth their while. So will they invest in taking the time to read something, or will they simply pass it by and scroll past it? So headlines or post titles, I suppose, are the most important part of an article, because the majority of people will use their headlines to decide whether or not they're going to read the article. And it doesn't matter how good or bad your actual article is, if it has a weak headline, it won't get read. So headlines are super important. They're going to be able to capture the attention, interest, and intrigue your reader. Now, as I said, the headline is the most important part of any piece of writing. Whether it's an article, a newsletter, whether it's sales copy, maybe you've written a blog, you've got a website, an email, or even a business report. Whatever it is, the headline is just super, super important. And by improving your headlines, you're going to find that your writing will no longer be ignored, dismissed, or deleted, because people are going to be hungry to find out more. They want to read the rest. And without a good headline, the rest will not be read. So by having that fantastic headline, this is your one chance to create an impression, and that will then enable people to say, well, yes, this interests me, it's worth spending my time on, or no, I'm going to move on to the next thing. And you only have a couple of seconds to do that. So when people are reading, their eye is going to scan the headline and make that instant decision. Does it interest them? Does it intrigue them or amuse them, or can it be ignored? There's no second chance. You only have that one chance. There's no going back, and the rest of your article, no matter how brilliant, how amusing, how informative it is never going to be read if they don't get past that headline, if that headline doesn't capture their attention. Now, of course, headlines are used everywhere. If you have a look in the newspaper, you're going to find that they're very dramatic, the headlines, and they are obviously a headline in a newsletter, a newspaper, an offline newspaper, is quite different to the headline of an online article or blog, because you have a little bit more space. You're not having to cram everything into 2 or 3 words and grab the attention on the page. It's different, but still serves the same purpose. So you've got your headlines, as I've written here, in your blogs or articles, the subject line of your newsletter or email, and that is really key too. If you are an online marketer, you're sending out a lot of emails, and people's inbox, their inboxes are full. Every morning when I get up, I've got at least 40, 50 emails there, and I'm not going to read all of those emails, and I'm not alone. I'm going to scan them. I'm going to look at who are they from, and what does it say, what's the title, and that is going to really help me make a decision on whether I'm going to click on it to open it, or whether I'm going to just delete it and move on to the next one. So in a busy world today, particularly an online world, we really have to capture people's attention with that catchy headline, and it's just so important. So your video title, your freebie topic, your lead magnet. If you've got a course, a program, or your coaching package, or your special offer that you have, if it's got that really cool title, then it's going to get a lot more attention and make people want to have it, make it a must-have for them. So there are 5 golden rules that you should follow when you are creating your headline. And they're very simple, very succinct, and very powerful. So the first one is that it needs to be clear. It needs to be clear over clever. Now, a lot of people write these really pithy titles that are just so clever, and you think, wow, that is fantastic. But if you've only got a couple of seconds to grab someone's attention, they haven't got time to look at it and go, hang on, I don't get it. Oh, that's right, yes, I see what it is now. You just haven't got that time. So even though you may have a knack for creating these awesome headlines, you want to pull back on it. Use that later in your article, because you want to have this headline so clear that a 10-year-old could understand it. If it takes longer than a couple of seconds for people to get it, then you're going to lose them. And you want to have, they need to be really clear on what they're going to get by investing their time in reading further. Needs to be relevant. Now, it needs to be integrity. So you need to make sure that the headline that you are writing is relevant to the content. There's no point in you putting in a fantastic headline that grabs your reader's attention, and then they get to the article, they get to something else, and really it's not relevant. And you've cheated them, I suppose. You haven't had that. You haven't repaid the trust that they have paid you by reading by clicking on the headline and going further. You haven't repaid that trust, and that really erodes the way that they're going to be seeing you. So it's really important to stay relevant and to not lure your reader in under false pretenses. And I know that if you read the tabloid magazines, I know often I'll be at the supermarket and I'll see something there about so-and-so has had a baby, or so-and-so is she pregnant? And then when you read down a bit further, it's something that happened 10 years ago. And it's just lured you in, and it's really, you don't get what they promised. And you know how frustrating that is. You want to focus your headline. Make it really specific. And this is something that I tell all of my clients, be as specific as possible, because the more general you are, the more people like to be general in order to appeal to more people, but the more general it is, the less appealing, the less magnetic and compelling a headline is going to be, because it's not specific enough. So if you can make it very clear on who it's for and the purpose, and focus your headline on one specific group, then they are going to love it and hang on your every word. And this is also going to help it be more relevant. Concise. Concise, short, to the point. Very targeted, very clear. Use a small amount of words if you can, because then they can read it quickly and they don't have to scan along the whole line. Because as you know, if you're looking at even a Facebook news feed, people's fingers are going like crazy. They're scrolling through that, and it takes something really magnetic to actually make them stop scrolling and click on whatever it is you have to offer. And it needs to be exciting. Don't bore your reader. Excite them, amuse them, make them curious, and be intriguing. So you want to pique their curiosity. Now, the number one thing that you must nail when writing a headline is you need to be 100% clear on who you are targeting. And knowing your ideal client is just such a crucial part of any marketing. And I know that it gets bandied around a lot, this word ideal client. But if you do not know who your ideal client is, who your target audience is, who specifically you have goods or services or products or whatever it is to sell, who you are selling to, if you don't know who that is, then they are not going to be clear about whether you are the right person that they want to invest their time, money, and energy into. So you need to know their biggest pain. This is going to be such a draw card in marketing. If you know what their problems are, what their burning desires are, what they are really struggling with, and what they would be willing to pay almost anything for, what they are willing to invest their time, money, and energy in, then you are going to really capture their attention with that headline. If you also are able to identify what their dream outcomes are, so what their real goals are, what they want, what they are searching for. So finding out who they are, the 3 Ps are the person, who this person is. Are they a mum who's struggling with her time management, and her biggest pain is not having time to spend with her kids, and maybe she's also running a business, trying to balance those two. Her dream outcome might be she wants to be able to have a lifestyle where she has enough time for business, enough time for family, and enough money to do all those things and go on holidays as well. And if you can identify what those really hot topics are for your ideal client, what their biggest pain is, what they really want, their hidden burning desires are, and put them into your headlines, then you've got a real winner. So some of the ideas that you can use in creating your own compelling headlines are to use some of these little tips here. So if you ask a question, if you are mysterious. Now I'll go into these individually. So these are just up here to give you a little bit of a taste of what's to come here so that you're going to listen a bit further. See how that captures your attention, just knowing the headlines of the next slides. So ask a question, be mysterious, make a promise, tell them a secret, be quirky, use unique details, show value, use controversy, and ask for help. Now, all of these are quite, they've got a little bit of a difference there, and they're all going to be different in their own way and capture the attention of your reader. So let's start. Ask a question. Now, this is a powerful way to create a headline. Something like, how would you like to book 20 sales calls every month? What is your favorite way to spice up your love life? Things like, are you something or other? Do you really want to something or other? How many times have you something or other? So depending on what your business is, you can adapt this yourself. But by using the question, you're immediately making them think, and you're putting in there either a pain or pleasure point. You're going to start to get them ready to click on your headline. Be mysterious. Put some mystery into your headline. Make it sound a little bit different. So something like, everything changed when I added this one element to my marketing. So I'm not telling you what it is. You have to read the article or the email to find out what that is. The one secret element not to miss out on when you're writing your next newsletter. Now, does that make you want to read on? Rather than me saying, here's what you learn how to write a newsletter. Instead saying the one secret element not to miss out on when you're writing your next newsletter. You can see how it's a little bit more catchy and is going to entice you to read on more than if you just had a statement. Make a promise. People love to read on, as we said before, the promise has to be relevant to the article. So you can't make a promise that you're going to tell them how to make $1 million just by reading this email. It has to be something that's actually true. So if you're a health coach, for example, or someone in weight loss, you might say, this one thing will change the way you look at your dinner plate forever. Lose 5 kilos and add 5 years to your life. Has to be in integrity, as I said. So making a promise, that can be something that can be quite catchy for a headline. Tell them a secret. This is a really good one. If you want to have a 6-figure business, this is the one thing that you need. Now, if you read that headline, would you want to click on that? It's quite enticing, you know, or something about yourself even. This is the one thing I did that changed my life forever, or added $10,000 a month to my business, something like that. Be quirky. So say something really different that you're not going to be able to, that really makes them stand up and take attention, pay attention, sorry. Something like, my husband told me how great my lasagna was just before our first kiss. So if you can use something that's going to sort of intrigue them and make them want to read on, because they don't know what you're going to be talking about there, but they want to find out what it is because it sounds really interesting. Use unique details. Now, as I mentioned before, for example, that my first introduction to internet marketing was at that internet marketing seminar at the Hilton Hotel. So something like, I started my online business after attending a seminar at the Hilton Hotel in Melbourne in 2013. Something like that that is really unique, that only you can talk about. So that even if it's about the topic that you that your ideal client wants to hear, if you can put your take on it, use your experience, use your something that's happened to you, a unique event in your life that's relevant, obviously, to what you're going to be talking about, then that's going to help you stand out and make that impact when you've got the headlines. Show value. Give them the value of what reading this article or blog or whatever it is will have for them. Something like, this message will save you $5,000. The one thing you need to create your first $10,000 a month. Sorry, your first 10K month. And it's not what you think. So something like that is going to intrigue them, and you're going to offer them that this is what's going to happen in this email or this newsletter. But as I said, it's got to be in integrity, because you will lose the trust of your people if they are continually clicking on headlines, or you're promising something in a headline and you're not delivering. You're luring them in under those false pretenses. No matter how great your headline is, it may work for a little while, but people will soon get to know that you can't be trusted, and they are not going to be wanting to interact with you anymore. Really important in business and in life, of course, as well. Use controversy. The one thing they told me I should never do, and how it changed my life forever. Something like that. Now, these next couple I'm going to say, these are just controversial headlines. They're not what I think. Gay marriage should be illegal. Donald Trump is the best president ever, and this is why. Now, if you read those headlines, would that make me want to read on? If you hate what I've just said, you're still going to want to read it to find out why, so that you can really find out what it is that I'm talking about, so you can argue with me. It's just going to make you interested, and that's what you want your headline to do. You want to make people read. You want to make them click. So the more that you can do that in integrity, the better. So if there's something in your business that you could talk about, you know, what you do compared to someone else, or some technique that you have that is quite controversial, talk about that in your headline. And of course, ask for help. People love helping. If you say something like, I need your feedback on this, please. I'm desperate. Can you help? This is my last chance. I really need your help. Appealing to people's need to help people, and wanting to you know, the natural what's the word? The natural inclination people have to want to help other people works really well. So if you're appealing, you're asking for help, this works really well in a Facebook group as well, or if you want to get some feedback on something. If you've got some, I know that I've used it very well in my own Facebook group, asking for help when I'm designing a new program or a webinar, asking for help on the titles that I'm wanting to see what people think. And they really like to be able to contribute. So if you can pick your person, the problem they're having, and the pleasure, so their ideal solution, and you can put your question or your title in the right place, then you're going to get a lot of interaction. So this is a good one as well to use. So what we're going to jump into now are the different formulas, the really specific templates that you can use to create your own awesome headlines that are going to work really, really well. And I have 4 of these. Now you can use one of these over and over again, one of these techniques. You can use all 4 in different places, and I recommend doing a combination, you know, mixing and matching, so that you're not always using the same formula over and over again. So and we'll go into these in real detail in a sec. So number 1 is the fill in the blanks formula. So that's where you have this, 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 and this, and I'll give you the formula that'll make it really powerful in a sec. The before and after formula, the pleasure and pleasure, and the overcome pain and get great outcome formula. So let's go into the first one, the fill in the blanks formula. Now it looks a bit complicated, but it's not. So this formula here, down the bottom, so I've got the blanks up the top there that you're going to fill in. And then we're going to, so the number, what I'll do is actually, I've got down the bottom number, adjective, strategy or tool to help you, outcome, and outcome without pain point. Now that sounds like gobbledygook, doesn't it? But I'll give you an example to make it easier. So the 10 key ways to help you lose weight and tone up without dieting. So if you use a number in there, that works really well. The hashtag is for the number. So 10, an adjective, key, strategy or tool is ways. So 10 key ways to help you. So this is what you're going to help them do. You're going to give them 2 outcomes: lose weight and tone up without dieting. So I'll say that one again. Now you can, I know this is sounds a little bit complicated. This is probably the most complicated of all 4, and you can watch this later to really analyze how this can work for you, but this is a really good formula to use for your headlines. So 10 key ways to help you lose weight and tone up without dieting. Now that's a powerful headline, isn't it? I've got another one here too. 5 simple strategies to help you get your next paying client and make $10,000 a month in your business without spending 2 hours a day on Facebook. So let's just go through that one. So 5, the adjective is simple. A strategy or tool, I've got strategies here to help you get your next paying client. That's one outcome. And make $10,000 a month in your business. That's another outcome. Without spending 2 hours a day on Facebook. That's their pain point. So I'll just go through that one again, and you follow along. Follow along with the little dot. 5 simple strategies to help you get your next paying client and make $10,000 a month in your business without spending 2 hours a day on Facebook. So this is our first formula that you can use. And this is quite a descriptive one. So some of them are shorter and more concise and powerful, and others have a little bit more in the title. So you're able to talk more to their pain and pleasure here. The others are a little bit simpler and more concise. Before and after. Now this is an easy one. Pain to pleasure. So something like if you're a coach, no clients to a fully booked coaching practice. So if your pain obviously is you've got no clients, what you want instead, which is the pleasure, is a fully booked coaching practice. So if you've got a program, for example, and it's called No Clients to a Fully Booked Coaching Practice, then that's pretty clear on what you're going to be getting. If you're a photographer, for example, blah photos to supermodel status. So your pain is you've got photos that are crap and you want to have them looking really good. So blah photos to supermodel status. Something like chaos to calm. My mentor, Mel Farr, has a program that's called Under Earner to Unforgettable. So really powerful, simple to the point, and they can be really catchy. So they're great for program titles, but you can use them otherwise as well. Pleasure and pleasure. This is another take on the pain and pleasure where you're really focusing on the good stuff. So instead of playing on the pain, and you can decide yourself. Some people and some businesses, some potential audiences are better motivated by pain, and others are more motivated by pleasure. So, you know, there's the carrot and the stick. Are they going to be more motivated to move away from pain? And usually that is the case, or towards pleasure. So you can decide yourself, and definitely you want to play around with these headlines. You don't just choose something and go, this is it, this is all I'm using from now on. You need to continually be monitoring what's working, what responses you're getting, what are people saying, how many people are reading or responding or signing up, and tweak things if necessary. Split test. Try the same article with 2 different headlines, whether one is a pain headline, one's a pleasure headline, or one is one of the fill in the blanks formula, and just see how much of a difference that headline makes, because you can have an article or a blog and you can have 10 different headlines, and that will really influence the impact that that article will have, how often it gets read, who reads it, what sort of response they have to it. So pleasure and pleasure, calm and collected. Get more clients and grow your bank balance. Lose weight and eat whatever you want. I would like to join that program, but I don't think there is one. Okay. And number 4 is overcome pain and then get a great outcome. So what we're talking about here is how to overcome the pain and learn to get the pleasure so that you can great outcome and great outcome. So I've got an example here. How to defeat overwhelm as a new mum and learn to structure your week so that you can spend quality time with your family and watch your kids grow up happy. So we'll just break that one down. So how to defeat overwhelm as a new mum. So there I've got in the pain point, and I've also snuck in the person as well. It makes it a little bit more powerful. So how to defeat overwhelm as a new mum and learn to structure your week. So that's the pleasure, structure your week so that you can spend quality time with your family. That's one outcome. And watch your kids grow up happy. That's the other outcome. So I'll go through that one again. How to defeat overwhelm as a new mum and learn to structure your week so that you can spend quality time with your family and watch your kids grow up happy. So as I just mentioned before, the success formula to use is to mix it up. Don't just rely on one type of headline. Don't just rely on the same adjectives, the same words over and over again. Test and tweak. Research and find out what works best for your audience. So if you are, say if you are a business coach and your potential clients are looking for more clients so that they can earn more money, you could be talking about how to get more clients. You could be talking about how it feels not having clients. You can be talking about how fantastic it would be to have X amount a month. You could talk about how dreadful it is not having money and having to struggle to pay the bills and not be able to feed your family. And it's a matter of, this is going to be something, as I said, that's going to be individual to your audience, to your ideal client, and it's going to take a bit of work in researching and asking questions and trying things out and seeing how they go. Now, Facebook groups are fantastic for this because if you can go into Facebook groups that have your ideal client in them and listen to what's happening and listen to what people are saying, listen to the words that they're using, the problems that they're complaining about, and those are the words that you're going to be able to use in your headlines. And if you can do that, it's going to be much more powerful than you inventing something that you think might work. If you get it straight from the horse's mouth and you have the language that they're using, then they're really going to resonate with that when you put that into your headline. And that's going to be the way that you're going to almost guarantee that they will click or open the email or do whatever it is they need to do in order to access the content that you're providing to them. So do some research. So really be clear on who your ideal client is. What problems are they having? What do they want instead? What are the solutions, the dream outcomes that they want? And then when you are creating content, you want to have that compelling headline that's going to attract their attention and ensure that they read that content. And you can do this by having that insider knowledge of your audience and knowing what's going to trigger them and what's going to really attract their attention. And then you're going to test and tweak that. So you might try, as I said, you might try the pleasure and pleasure headline one time. You might try the pain to pleasure. You might try the overcome pain and get great outcome. Whatever works well, that's what you want to use regularly. So test and tweak, try different ones, try different words, and see how things go, but see if you can monitor them and actually take note of the responses that you're getting, because that is information that you can then use moving forward, and it's going to increase the rate of people opening your emails. It's going to increase the amount of times people click on your Facebook ads. It's going to multiply how many people are reading your blog. And eventually, these are all the free ways, and then they're going to be moving that step closer to working with you and paying you. So when you have a program, when you have a coaching package or a photography package or a really awesome VA package, whatever it is, if you can give it that really cool name that's going to be quite descriptive of what it contains and what they're going to get from it, then you're going to have much more success moving forward. So that is the presentation this morning. That gives you a really good idea, I'm hoping, on how to structure headlines, the different types of headlines you can create, and how important having a compelling headline is to getting clients, to growing your list, because you want to be attracting the people who you want to work with. So they're the people that you want to have on your list. Now, I do have a special offer for you today that's going to help use the information that we've talked about today, how to create your compelling headline to grow your list like crazy, and that is to design 90 days of client attracting content power session. So this session, it's a 90-minute phone or Skype session, and in that session you're going to learn my step-by-step planning system, and we're going to incorporate obviously the headline here, what you've learnt today. That's definitely a big part of the system. We're going to map out your content for the next 90 days in detail so that you will have 3 months worth of content mapped out. You'll have your headlines. You'll have your plan for what you're going to be talking about, what blogs you're going to be producing, the themes, the titles, the content for your next blogs, newsletters, webinars, Facebook posts, etc. Everything will be all sorted, and you can then just implement. And this is something that I do for myself regularly. I plan out 90 days in advance so that I always know what the next thing is I've got coming up. I plan out my newsletters. I plan out my live content, my webinars, my any live streams that I'm doing. I create the pathway if I've got something coming up. And for you, if you have a program coming up that you're wanting to sell people into, if you've got something special offers coming up, you can then reverse engineer back from that and create the content that's going to perfectly streamline the path of your client from being someone who you've never met, a cold contact, and move them all the way through becoming a loyal client. And having that content to nurture them with along the way is going to really focus focus their attention on where they need to be in order to get to a certain point, so to reach their outcomes. And it's also going to allow you to be seen. You're going to be visible. You're going to build up your credibility, build up that know, like, and trust factor online, and have a really big impact and grow your list. And the key is to be organized and not to be struggling every day, not knowing what to write about, not knowing what you should be doing, not having a plan. So if you are interested in this, please book your session. The link is there. I'll see if I can, I wonder if I can put it into the, I might not be able to put it into the chat box, that's fine, but I'll send an email as well with that link too. So it's $197 as a special price, and it's normally $350. So thank you so much for being here today, ladies. I have really enjoyed presenting about headlines, and I hope that you've got a lot of great information from it. So have a lovely day, and I will see you all later. Oops, there we go. Goodbye for now, ladies. Bye-bye.